Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Winter Game Fest's final match of the day. This is going to be the grand finals. Oh, this is exciting. We're already going into champion select. Again, these two teams, it's going to be Leroy Jenkins versus...
Suck my Freylord.
Yes, that's
Suck
that one.
my Freylord, dog. For not remembering that.
Yeah, you can suck my Freylord.
We actually have a special treat. We're going to actually be using the three casters that have been permanently casting this one. We have a tri-cast. Problem is Kiki kind of Kevin So Korean actually is Devin.
Yeah.
He went Mia, so
we're currently missing one caster, but of course show's not going to stop for the casters, so we're going right into the ban phase. We can see Kassadin, Vi, and Tryndamere being banned out right away. Yasuo, Elise, and Mundo. Mundo current meta, Elise fantastic jungler, and Yasuo popular in the mid lane.
Definitely. I don't know what the others picks. I know Yasuo, Firelord Iroh, as he's now known. He was playing a lot of Yasuo early, and I was actually talking to one of the Riot designers that were here, and they're just like, you gotta nerf that guy. He's just too good.
I believe it was changed a little bit in 4.1. His mechanics were just updated a bit on his EQ, his dash, slash. And already we can see Iroh first speaking in Shyvana for the team. Now that's a bit interesting. Normally we wait just a little bit to see what the enemy is going to pick before Shyvana, but they're trying to keep it away from Leroy Jenkins. And Leroy Jenkins, Fui going for a nice quick Annie.
As well as
taking up Ziggs. Very, very powerful on Ziggs.
And it's very quick lock-ins. It wasn't instant, but they know what they want. They're going with the strongest. Everyone's considering that Annie and Ziggs are probably the strongest in their respective roles.
You think we could have a specific team composition planned?
No. The thing is these fit actually very well in most comps. You know, they don't reveal anything with that. Same with the Shyvana. You know, these are picks that just go with everyone. We already seen some more of the comp from the Suck My Freylord. It goes into Thresh pick and an Orianna pick.
And we're seeing Banana Uyu hovering over Ezreal. We do know that Banana Uyu's Ezreal is very strong. We've seen it a couple of times in this tournament, and it absolutely does so much damage. He has some excellent CS and just really dominating team fights. His mobility is unmatched. So hopefully it will be Suck My Freylord able to keep up with that. Arknights, however, the jungle
for Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah. Just taking his time, taking a look. That is Elise banned out, Vi banned out as well. Hovering over Nocturne. Now that's not something you see every day. Nocturne, very high gank potential post-sense.
You know, they banned out his Vi, and the Leroy Jenkins banned out Elise, and they're like, maybe, bring out Nocturne. Maybe that's something that Arknight is comfortable with. I do remember him playing that before in a previous match in their collegiate leagues. So, but they're going to change into the Olaf instead.
Olaf very strong, able to use Ragnarok and just dive onto his targets. And Made in Africa, hovering over Karthus. I really hope that's actually a jungle Karthus, just because Karthus is just so fantastic against an Olaf. Even if he does go down, he stays for, 6 seconds, 7 seconds?
Yeah, something like that.
And just throws out tons and tons of damage, able to do AoE, able to pick off targets.
It's enough.
Quick little dots.
Enough to kill the AD carry.
Absolutely. Lone cheese.
Oh, maybe they're going to pick the Nocturne themselves. Hovering over Nocturne as well as Tristana. Lone Chief actually is an AD carry player. He's a sub. They were playing with Anarchy of Din, their normal support player, but he had to go for the day 3. So they're subbing in Lone Chief as an AD carry, and he's known for playing Tristana. He only plays Tristana. He actually posted on our League of Triumphs, the LOL Club Facebook group, and it was like, I just got the Diamond 1 only playing Tristana.
Wow, that's impressive.
He's not playing AD carry here, as far as we know. And that's going to be Made in Africa. Is going to be channeling his teammates' champion if they do lock in this Tristana.
They could switch. Okay, we're just hearing that there may be a placeholder, so that could potentially be a switch.
And it looks like
we have a quick cancel. So we're going to go ahead and bring up our beautiful mugs one more time. And we're going to get the exact same picks and bans up until there?
I'm not sure we'll get word. I feel like it might have been... Well, we're going right into it, so we'll see.
About to go back in one more time. Hey, that's not the right thing.
I think it was the Nocturne or the Tristana was probably a placeholder. Or it could have been they picked those champions, but couldn't trade. So sometimes, because we aren't playing on the tournament level, we're playing on live client, we don't get all the champions unlocked. So someone might not have bought Nocturne or something. And so, what is...
Yes, they were only placeholders. So they're going to be swapping out in just a moment.
It looks like it was Skarner for Leroy Jenkins, I guess.
On Fui in the top lane?
Maybe.
Skarner top lane, new meta. Fui going to show us how it's done. I hope. Unless he just decides to go back for that classic Tryndamere.
Yeah, I mean, if he locks in, that's it, you know. But we're not sure. We don't know. Admins haven't told us what the
So we should be getting identical picks between these two teams just because there was a reset of the whole champ select. We should be going for the same picks until you get to whatever that placeholder was.
And it could be a Skarner.
It's entirely possible. It could be the Skarner. It would be a very delayed placeholder.
I don't know why they're
I suppose.
We'll see. 1 second.
I'm just going through a range of facial expressions and waiting.
This is Skarner.
That is going to be a Skarner, hopefully in the top lane. New meta Skarner, and all that funny, going for a quick Wukong. Was there actually a team switch?
I'm not sure.
Did they switch out a sub?
Well, maybe it was like the Nocturne with the Wukong, and that was the placeholder. I'm not entirely sure.
We're gonna get a moderator to go over and talk to the teams to find out what is going on between everything Banana Me. Once again, allowed to take that Ezreal Arcanites. So
We know that Ezreal's not a placeholder. He's been playing it all tournament long. It's been, and I think they've almost gone undefeated, I believe.
Yeah, they're
Especially
two
with
of their
the
way all the way to the finals. This is two undefeated teams, so in this game we are certain to see at least one team go down.
If the laws of physics are correct, one of these teams will become undefeated.
Laws of probability. Can't
I
even
can hold on.
Yeah, well.
You do it.
Right left? Which one? Wow. That's happened. Cool. And we see Lone Cheese again getting that Tristana. Immocrip allowed to take Thresh. We have seen Immocrip's Thresh in the past, and it is very powerful. Lands great death sentences, has some great control, and what a team composition out of Leroy Jenkins. Heartbeat on Ziggs in the mid, Banana Uyu and Hooch going to be in the bottom lane on Ezreal Annie. Arknights in the jungle, and Fui, Skarner, top lane.
And for blue team, suck my Freylord, it will be Firelord Iroh taking Shyvana. Lol That Funny is going to be taking the Wukong in the jungle, and then Orianna in mid lane, and in the bot lane composition it will be Lone Cheese on Tristana and Ilmacrip on Thresh. And actually, I guess I was wrong. Lone Cheese must be subbing in as AD carry.
So Lone Cheese, going back to that Tristana pick, we have seen it in the past. We can now bring up the summoner spells and allow everybody to take a look at that. And whoa! Teleport on Fui. Looks like he wants to really try to make some plays happen. Going to rely on Impale to pull some of the squishies out of position. Again, that's going to be Made in Africa on Orianna and Lone Cheese on Tristana.
You know, the teleport is used to apply pressure on the map, or it actually has multiple uses. If Skarner gets too low towards the end of the beginning of the laning phase, you can use it to get back instantly, not miss too much CS.
And we're going to have to keep an eye on how exactly that works out. In the jungle, it's Lol That Funny on Wukong versus Arknights on Olaf. Both have some pretty powerful gank potential. Olaf going to have to rely on Undertow to catch his targets. If he misses the Undertow axe, he's going to be effectively useless because he doesn't exactly have any built-in CC outside of it, and it was changed in his rework. So it does have a base distance, and the cooldowns are a little bit longer, I believe.
And as well, he's actually taking Flash. So usually we see the Ghost, so it assists him, and even if he does miss the axe, he'll still be running really fast. But the Flash is going to be different. You know, he won't have that everlasting speed. He only have like a quick burst of movement
in order to catch up with his targets, and we
have seen a couple of escape.
Exactly, we have seen a couple of tank Olafs. Haven't seen any really bruiser or fighter Olafs just yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on what he decides to go for. Lol That Funny on Wukong has excellent engage with his Nimbus Strike, followed up by a quick Cyclone to just shove targets and burn down the very squishy Banana Uyu and Heartbeat, and even Hooch. But it will be up to Lol That Funny to get those engages. I'm curious if Lol That Funny is going to go for a Black Cleaver build or for a more defensive Sunfire Cape Atmos, maybe?
It's interesting. Wukong, you typically see him in the solo lanes. So they can, with Wukong's Iron Skin passive, it gives him so much armor and magic resist free. It's almost like 60 once it hits 5 enemies around him, or And so you can afford to just build offense and health. So that's why Black Cleaver actually does really well. It offers both of those, you know, the AD, the armor pen, and the health. So it'll be interesting if he does go for that offensive build, or if he just goes tank, because traditionally junglers are the tankier champions on the teams. Yeah, I probably would expect him to build a brutalizer if he does get a successful gank, or he farms a lot, so you can help with that offensively early, and then transition into tank with maybe a Sunfire, Spirit Visage, or a Randuin's.
Absolutely. We're going to have to keep an eye. Again, this is the grand finals between Suck My Freljord and Leroy Jenkins, with SMF on the blue team and Leroy Jenkins on the red team.
And while we're going to load screen, I want to just remind and thank our sponsors. You know, we have Tespa, Riot, Asus, GamerCon, Kingston HyperX, Monster Energy, and Sony.
Some really, really great sponsors. A big shout out to Riot for coming out earlier today. That was super, super cool. Holding that AMA panel was just super fun. It wasn't an AMA. It was more of a Q&A.
It was Q&A with some storytelling involved. It was really fun.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
And you're getting into the load screen, so the game is about to start momentarily. Very exciting, very exciting. This is the grand finals. Ooh, the winner of this game is going to be so happy.
Definitely, we have some nice prizes lined up for the winners for both first and second place. So they'll both be getting something. First place gets a little bit nicer prize, though.
And I'm curious to see if we are going to see any sort of lane swaps go down to try to shut Skarner down. We did see Fui, I believe it was Fui on Kha'Zix, or was that Heartbeat?
It was Heartbeat.
We saw Heartbeat go for a crazy lane swap where you sent the AD carry and the support mid, and your mid lane to the bottom lane, where your bottom lane went 1v2 and your top lane went, I don't know, it was pretty crazy. But again,
I'm not sure if they'll do that, because they did that to shut down a LeBlanc. LeBlanc usually being very, very dominant in the lane once you hit those like 4 through 6 levels. Orianna, she's more of a passive farmer. You know, they can do that. They can 2v1 swap if they so choose. And Annie actually traditionally was a good support for those mid lanes because of the shorter lane, so you can actually you have less room to hit the stun, and she doesn't have an escape, so that mid lane helps. So it is a possibility, but I don't think it will happen.
We will definitely see, as Hooch is known to be crazy. Definitely going to be making some crazy plays. But hey, let's get a big round of applause for the players. This is the finals. This is super exciting. This is the finals, guys. Come on. This is really cool. This is going to be very fun. Both of these teams are undefeated. Woo! We're going to get some great play out of these two as we are now in game. We're going to adjust the screen real quick and get right on in and see if we get any sort of quick invades or quick action, or if they're going to take their time and play it safe. Again, the winner of this game is going to have a huge boost to, I guess, morale?
And their wallets, if they win all three.
Well, what's first prize again?
It is, I believe, $100 each.
Ooh.
I might be incorrect, but as far as I know...
That's like 2 legendary skins.
Yeah. All right, we're looking into the level 1s. It looks like both teams spreading. Actually, we have Suck My Freljord actually grouping up towards the dragon area mostly, but otherwise nothing immediate.
And it looks like everyone's just going to play it safe. They know what's at stake. $100 on the line for each of the players, so they want to try to take this first game as passively as possible. No fancy plays quite
Don't
yet.
take the risk. Don't take the risk.
Just gonna sit back on their haunches, and let's take a look at their items so far. It's pretty standard items just about out of everyone. We have Doran's on the 2 mids and the AD carries. Doran shields on both of the supports. Not gonna go for any sort of gold coin or Targon. Instead, they're going to rely on being able to trade with the enemy support and carry.
Definitely, that's important. And we see Dorn Shields just coming out a lot of times with supports because they're going to be the ones at the front trading auto attacks with the AD carries. You try and distract your AD carry when you're the enemy AD carry when you're the support. But we're actually seeing an invade possible. Hooch has his anti-stun passive charged up completely. 4 are grouped up right here. Looks
like they might want to go for a dive. There's a ward, so it will spot them in advance. They did see that ward go down, so there isn't going to be any sort of funky play quite yet.
It's interesting they didn't expect that because they know when the ward trinkets actually come up. So if they wanted an
invade. This is pretty interesting. Fui going for a quick dive just to keep an eye on, and whether or not
Wukong was probably starting
at
blue.
blue, and instead he sees Wukong starting red, so he knows he's going to have to be careful in that top lane against Shyvana in about a minute and a half. But until that minute and a half is done, it's going to be Skarner versus Shyvana in the top lane. That's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch.
No 1v2s, no 1v2s.
Yeah, and it is a standard bot lane matchup, AD carry and support versus AD carry and support. They're already trading spells here and there as Immelcrypt and Hooch are just preparing. And I am curious, I haven't seen Skarner at high level play in a long time.
I don't think anyone has, honestly.
Certainly has got something up his sleeve.
And there's some early game action
Iroh,
right here.
And already we can see him shredding down Iroh's health.
Yeah, it's the one problem with this lane I see is Fuiz and Skarner has no mana. He's actually being engaged on, but runs away. This mana pool is really going to hurt him. Shyvana can throw out her spells whenever they're off cooldown.
Already less than half of his mana pool gone. Ignite being dropped onto oh no, that was just the Tristana dot. Immelcrypt not taking Ignite, going instead for the Exhaust for additional utility and harass.
Yeah, if he doesn't, need the Ignite, an Exhaust will help shut down the AD carry, but it looks like there's going to be a jungle top battle up here.
Skirmish in the top lane as Fui and Iroh are continuing to press forward. Fui burning out of mana nice and quick, so he's not going to be able to trade with Shyvana anymore. But he is up in farm for now, currently at 10 to 10. And now we already see Iroh punishing Fui because of that low mana pool. That's going to mean Arknights is going to have to dedicate a lot of time in that top lane. And whoa, All That Funny getting caught by Arknights. They're trading red buff damage. A huge Reckless Spikes catches All That Funny, and now Undertow as well. He's bleeding away, using that red buff to continue slowing in the meanwhile. Fleet turning onto Lord Iroh. Lord Iroh going to have to be careful as he finally backs away from another Undertow from Arknights.
Yeah, Wukong is just going to be limited towards his early ones until he gets a Cyclone. He really excels in that team fight, especially if he's jungle Wukong. So if he meets an Olaf in the jungle like that, he's just not
another
going
game
to
coming
win.
in as Arknights looks like he wants to try to punish Iroh for overextending, just barely managing to miss the Undertow. And Iroh is escaping still with both of his summoners, so no summoners burnt quite yet. Again, this is the final, so the players are playing very safe and cautious. They're not trading any kills or summoners just yet. And Descens misses.
Yeah, it looks like Arknight's doing a really good job babysitting Fui, realizes that mana pool is a deficiency for that top lane, so he's making sure that Iroh can't harass him as much.
And it's going to be up to Laldad Jimmy to be able to really punish Fui because of it, because as we've seen so far, Fui is actually keeping up in farm with Iroh. It is 21 to 14, and double Dorian shields on the both of those tops, so they're going to be able to sustain and trade auto attacks for quite a while. And Fui is just really keeping Iroh on his toes with this Skarner. I'm so perplexed by this. I wonder if they have something up their sleeve, some particular composition or strategy that we don't know about quite yet.
I was thinking Skarner might have been maxing E for the heal to help him sustain, but he's actually going with the Q instead. And it looks like Shyvana, Fire Lord Iroh, actually really taking a lot of time to try and harass him, and is missing CS because of it.
And he's starting to fall just a little bit behind. Finally, we have the first recall out of Fui, going for a Null Magic Mantle and a Sapphire Crystal for mana and magic resist. And then teleporting to get back into the lane with that teleport on cooldown. That could be scary as stuck by Freljord. They're going to have a timer on that. They will know that Skarner won't be able to rotate down towards the bottom lane or even the mid lane, and they could force a quick play at Dragon.
Definitely. Let's look at the bot lane actually really quickly. It's been pretty passive. They're both level 4, and it's actually the only even lane really at both solo lanes in favor for Leroy Jenkins. But we have
Banana Uyu gets caught out by Lol That Funny, but Arcane shifts over a wall. Good reaction from Uyu, not being punished too horribly for his overextension, but again, that's pressure from Lol That Funny, continuing to get SMF to try to catch up.
Looks like both junglers actually hanging for the mid lane. Lol That Funny and Arknight were kind of around the area, but they decided not to do anything with it.
We actually went for a quick rotation towards the mid lane, not going to make anything happen because of it. We have a Chalice picked up on Heartbeat. Not quite anything too scary from Made in Africa. Hooch with a stun. Good stun onto Lone Cheese, but unable to do a lot of damage on top of it. Uyu still only having that Doran's Blade. No recall yet in the bottom lane as the supporting AD carriers are just building up that gold, and Hooch gets low. Descent Land pulls him back in. Lone Cheese trying to get in onto Hooch, but Uyu, Arcane shifts in. Arknights gets caught out by All That Funny. Mega Inferno Bomb doing a lot to
back to
All That Funny. Hooch in the bottom lane, not able to get first blood. As Tristana now jumping onto Uyu. That's a quick 2 kills for the bottom lane. Lone Cheese getting another kill, and wow, Iroh with a rotate down into mid, really putting SMF ahead. Currently 3-1, 9.5k to the 8.8.
So honestly, directed cam was like getting all confused, and there's a fight in both lanes. Can you guys, the players, not fight at the same time? Just keep it to one lane. But you know, it actually worked out in favor.
And Command Shockwave catches Heartbeat along with Dragon's Descent. He's going to try to make it back to the turret. Flash is available. He does flash. Iroh not going to look for the dive. And Made in Africa feeling pretty good now. He's 1-0 to the 1-0 of Heartbeat. So this is going to be a pretty interesting mid matchup to watch. Two very skilled players just trading mana for farm.
Yeah, it definitely. Oh, and Made in
Heartbeat
Africa. Whoa.
Almost getting Africa. What a great bomb.
I think that was a little bit of luck on Made in Africa's part, you know, being able to survive. He should not have been there. The shield actually don't think actually absorbed anything. It was after that. But
Yeah, it was.
You know, survived, and it worked out. So he has to recall. He can't be greedy and farm anymore. Actually, those kills really working in favor of Suck My Freylord. They were behind in farm, but they're able to make the plays, and they are now ahead in gold because of it.
Actually, Ezreal with the first recall, going for a Phage instead of BF Sword. That's indicative of a Trinity Force opening. It's not something that we normally see on Banana Uyu. So action in the top lane as Fui is trading with Iroh. Iroh doing a lot of damage with a Doran Blade and a Longsword, so he can trade with Fui, where Fui has to rely on his Doran Shield to regenerate. Iroh does have that Lorenz Shield and Longsword to allow him to get that health back so much faster and take control of the lane. But as I was saying in the bottom lane, a BF Sword on Tristana to the Phage on Uyu.
And right now, that BF sword is going to hurt. Phage is usually good if you're ahead, but you know, because he was able to BF by the BF sword, his auto attacks are just going to hurt so much more. Yes, Ezreal is going to have a little bit more health, but over a sustained battle, that's going to really help the lone Chiefs.
And Arcanite's got a little bit of farm. Arcanite's opening up. Whoa, Death Sentence just tickling Banana Uyu's pants there. Not quite managing to get the hook.
And with the arcane shift, he doesn't have to be too.
And whoa, a dive going on in the jungle. Cyclone catching Fui to escape, and wow, another flash goes down. Heartbeat coming in with the save, but Command Shockwave is available. Fui goes down to Made in Africa with a quick command attack, and excellent dive out of SMF to take dominance over the enemy jungle. Again, Inferno while missing wall that funny. Command Shockwave now going on to Arcanites, despite the Ragnarok he falls to Iroh, and a flash over the wall. Africa wants to try to catch Heartbeat. Heartbeat is dangerously low, has a chalice to his name, so he is able to do a lot of damage in Heartbeat and doesn't want to continue.
Suck My Freylord is actually doing really good with these rotations. Firelord Iroh realizes he cannot push Skarner out of lane, even if he's trying. And he's going around making plays in the jungle, in the mid, and really helping his team elsewhere in the map.
And we are starting to get into a little bit of a lull. As, whoa, Africa gets caught out of position. Heartbeat with double buff is securely dominant in this lane, just going to keep Africa on his toes.
Down here at bot, it looks like it's pretty... actually, now Lone Cheese is taking the advantage, so that BF sword is really helping him get the 19 CS lead.
And that is going to be the Lone Cheese maxing out his rocket jump first for mobility. Not going to go for explosive shot to push the lane. Not going to go for rapid shot either to siege down objectives. Instead, going to go for the mobility style Tristana.
As well as the all-in.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick.
You know, if Ilmo Crypt can land one Death Sentence, their goal is to try and burst down that one person as soon as possible. And actually not even put any points in rapid fire, which is usually what you see is you put 2 jump points in rocket jump, max explosive shot, and then go into rapid fire after that, leaving rocket jump kind of at a low level and use it only for positioning. But Lone Cheese is going for that burst.
And that is definitely going to be something to watch out for, especially with a BF sword already picked up. And again, Banana Uyu opening up with a Phage. That Phage means he's not going to do damage for a while because it's going to take him a good 5 or so minutes to finish off that Trinity Force. Though once that Trinity Force is completed, there's a lot of damage potential as it's a large damage spike.
Looks like we're just kind of rotating. Actually, we're going to...
Heartbeats again coming over the wall to try to punish Made in Africa. And now that Mega Inferno Bomb is off of cooldown, he could try to go for a dive onto Africa, really nuke his target.
And we're actually going to be joined in by our third caster, Kevin, right now.
What's up, guys? I'm here to do some color cast for you guys.
Whoa,
Shyvana going in.
Down. Firelord Iroh gets impaled and pulled under the turret. Cyclone denying the impale. Whoa, Fui goes down to another death. 0-2-1 on Skarner in the top lane.
But at the moment in time, Arcanite pinging out the dragon. It looks like they're going to be rotating there. Annie, Ezreal, and Olaf going to be starting up this dragon.
So from my expert analysis, I can see that it is 6-2 right now, and Team SMF is currently winning. Am I correct, Dom?
Yes, they've been able to get some key engages, but right now it looks like Leroy Jenkins is going to take on the first
dragon away from that orb, and whoa! An almost pick attempt with the Dark Passage out of Tristana. She's not able to get it, though.
Yeah, the rocket jump wasn't there,
teleport
but
from Fui onto Iroh. Dragon Descent is not available, so he's got to be careful. Impale still on cooldown for about another 60 seconds. Looks like Iroh going to escape. That's a sheen on Fui. But wow, Iroh is doing such a great job going for a Bilgewater Cutlass for regeneration and a Negatron Cloak to deny Fui's damage. And Fui now ignited, going to back away from Iroh. Looks like he gets a kill with a huge burnout and a crit from the Bilgewater.
Wow, Firelord Iroh putting out tons of damage, and what a great display of calculation on Shyvana's part. She did not back off at any point. She knew that she would win, and she saved that ignite till the end because she knew that Skarner did not know she had that kind of damage, so good job.
And here in the mid lane, Heartbeat actually pressuring Made in Africa less than half HP, knows he can just freely push up this wave, and he's going to get the CS, continue the CS lead.
Alright, Firelord Iroh pushing on the turret here, and I do see that neither team has taken a turret so far in this game, so could this be the first turret for Team SMF? I'm not sure, but we're going to see if that happens for them today.
Iroh's definitely starting to take advantage at 91 farm. Heartbeat, however, does have the advantage in mid lane at 116 to the 77 of Made in Africa. But again, in the bottom lane, the Lone Cheese going for that, crit-based build, rushing an Infinity Edge.
It's just like old style Tristana, you know? Normally you're seeing the Bork, the Blade of the Rune King that actually Heartbeat had popularized in the LCS, but it looks like Lone Cheese is actually going for that old school Infinity Edge rush.
Definitely, and that really helps Tristana because she naturally has very high base attack speed, and you know, she does so well when she's just wailing on somebody, and the more attack speed you have nowadays, with Riot's new crit chance calculator, that gives you more crit chance the less you get crits. You know, attack speed really helps you get more crits in this game, and you know what?
Whoa, Play goes down. Looks like that funny gets a Dark Passage to go in onto Uyu, but Uyu arcane shifts away.
All the meanwhile, Fui actually countering jungling, know that that funny is not near his blue buff. He's going to take this blue buff by himself.
Alright, Banana Uyu, I see here popping a blue buff. He wants to stay in lane right now, and if I look at his items, he's actually going for Triforce first, which is actually going to be very disadvantageous against Tristana's Infinity Edge. As we all know, Infinity Edge will always out-damage any other AD damage on any other AD carry.
What it will do, though, for Banana is, you know, it will help him overall everything. You know, Ezreal helps, uses every single stat that Triforce has.
Definitely. And we will see that Ezreal has a lot more
Dragon's Descent going down on the Heartbeat. It's like Firelord Iroh, takes a huge Nimbus strike. As that funny is able to help Iroh pick up the kill.
That is a 5-0-1 Shyvana and a very scary dragon. That's gonna hurt later. I can guarantee you that. Shyvana scales very well to the late game, and I want to see, huge engage.
Cyclone going down onto Hooch, catching both Uyu and Hooch. Hooch is low. He finally falls. Iroh 2 falls. And now this is Arknights engaging onto all that funny jukes away with a huge Nimbus strike and command shot. He barriers most of the damage to survive, and Arknights, however, not going to fall either. Made in Africa. Not getting a kill. He needs Flash Sword. Throws down the dissonance. Has got it. Auto attack, and yes, he gets the kill. Here comes Lone Cheese.
That was so close.
Death sentence. So close.
Banana Uyu literally getting out by the skin on his teeth. I love that expression.
It's a good one, right?
And it looks like we got Suck My Firelord actually rotating, and now they know they have the player advantage. They're going to try and push up the mid lane, as well as Lone Cheese going into the bot to try and resume his farming there and push down that bot tower. Maybe take the
with the Flash Impale on the Made in Africa. She's now caught in the 6 damage. He's going to go down. Wow, with a Dark Passage, but she falls to an auto attack that managed to home in. What a crazy bomb throw. That was the biggest curveball I've ever seen.
Definitely. That was a very good play by Imulkip. Tried to get that lantern in there, but in the end, one more auto attack just finished off the job. Good job by both teams. That was a good play.
He just got caught off by that Flash Impale.
Definitely. You know, Skarner's Flash Impale will always be one of the best initiates in the game. I don't care how unmeta Skarner is. That pull will always do wonders.
And it doesn't matter how underfarmed, how low on CS you are, you know, how many deaths you have, it will always do the same thing.
I'm actually very surprised this Skarner is not going for the typical Shirelius. Oh, I'm sorry. Whatever the golden...
It's Shirelius in my heart.
It's still Shirelius.
I'm
surprised he's not going for the burst movement speed build, because that really lets you get some grabs in. And Hooch here stunning down Imulkip. Now, remember, any stun did get nerfed. How much again?
It's actually at 1.25. It scales throughout the game. Right now, it should be at 1.25, I believe.
If she's been leveling it around 1.6, 1.7, but Fui trading with Firelord Iroh in the top lane. Iroh rushing a Blade of the Ruin King is spreading Fui down with the Ignite, and Fui falls again, 0-4-2.
That is some incredible damage out of that Shyvana right there. Definitely a firebender if I ever saw one.
And whoa, all that funny catch. Arknights in the jungle. This is all that funny. I said firebender.
Okay, well, we're going to be bending some of the casting back into the game, as it looks like in bot lane, Lone Cheese and Banana Uyu back here, but Death Sentence missing. No engage right now. It might not have been the best engage right there. Hooch did have his stun.
And the top turret, second tier, going down to Team SMF, and they're going to take a huge gold lead with that one. They are now currently 3k gold ahead with 2 turrets. And even though Leroy Jenkins took the dragon, you know, giving up turrets like that is not a very good
Stun landing on Ammo Crypt, but Ignite goes down the box, catching Hooch. Oh, with the exhaust on Ezreal, he can't do a lot of damage out. Ammo Crypt is about to turn a double jump out of Lone Cheese. Super Mega Inferno Bomb, managing to catch Uyu. Oh, he
Teleport Fui coming in
with the quick teleport, does have Impale, and that's a double kill now on Lone Cheese. Lone Cheese diving in turret now. Arknight's getting dived by both All That Funny and Iroh. Looks like they might try to go and pick up a kill. Lone Cheese managing to get Ezreal, while All That Funny gets another kill. Fui not going to dive Ammo Crypt. And Tristana did fall. Whoa, a huge bolt pulling Fui under the turret, but he falls to a bomb from Heartbeat.
You know, fights going everywhere. Suck My Fairlight trying to keep their dominance, you know, expelled, but they just tie. That's actually going to be very advantageous right now for Leroy Jenkins. They're pushing in the bot lane, but right now it looks like Suck My Fairlight actually responding with the mid lane push, forcing Heartbeat actually to back and respond to that.
That's a very clever play. In order to defend their turret, they're pushing forward. Good siege. It is currently 3 turrets to 0 on not all of the tier 1 turrets yet. It's mostly top lane that's been pressured just because Iroh is doing so well against Fui. 140 farm to 107 with the Blade of the Rune King to a Iceborne Gauntlet on Skarner.
I mean, he already has a slow, and you know, Skarner loves circles, so maybe he's going for the circle Venn diagram strategy.
It has synergy. It definitely has synergy right there.
Visual synergy, yes.
Visual and emotional, I figure.
Well, Skarner wants to stick on top of one target. That Iceborne Gauntlet is really going to help
spawning.
Definitely, and
Leroy.
Obviously, Skarner turns into a very icy scorpion when he goes into his W form, so maybe he just wants to look cool.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about the visuals with Fui. That's why he plays Tryndamere. The cool badass with the sword and, you know, ripped abs. No.
Why do you
we
know
didn't
that
notice the
Tryndamere
abs.
has ripped abs? Ben, what have you been doing?
I didn't notice the abs.
I don't even know.
Alright, anyways, back to the game. The Lone Cheese farming down bot lane and doing tons of damage with that Infinity Edge. Infinity Edge on Tristana is so fun because every time she crits, she does a little twirl. And that's just super fun to watch during a team fight. You just see her spinning around and bullets flying everywhere. You go like, where's my HP going? She's spinning at me. She's dancing in front of me.
In the meanwhile, on Ezreal, that is a completed Trinity Court. So he's going to be able to keep up at least somewhat in the damage, but with the Zeal halfway actually completed on Lone Cheese, that's one step closer to the Phantom Dancer for additional crit. Uyu is going to have to be careful, Heartbeat especially, because that crit damage at 250% with the Infinity Edge and such a high crit chance from Phantom Dancer. I'm having flashbacks of Season 1 and Season 2.
Tristana is really known for having a very lackluster...
Oh, that funny catches Heartbeat, throws down the Cyclone, a lot of damage is going down. He flashes away, Command Shockwave, unfortunately missing because of a Command Protect, but here comes Lone Cheese from behind. Shockwave, and Lone Cheese goes down to the Impale. Ammo Crypt now caught inside of his own box. Isn't able to get a good kill. Leroy Jenkins with a powerful rotation, ending Lone Cheese and Ammo Crypt.
And they're going to try to take the dragon right now.
Cyclone is on cooldown, so All That Funny is going to have to be careful. He stealths in, really be able to make it. Quick with a big smite. Now he unfortunately falls. Iroh comes in with a dragon descent. 1v4. Oh, Fui is almost certainly going to fall. Yes, he does. Blade of the Rune King doing a lot. But he's backing away. What a dragon steal.
That was definitely one of the coolest dragon steals I've seen so far this tournament, and what great cleanup by Shyvana too. So, you know, SMF really turned that one around. They were behind 2 kills. You know, they looked like they were going to lose dragon, but instead they came up in dragon and gained 2 kills. So, you know what?
I just want to talk about the initial fight. It seemed like there'd be a miscommunication on Suck My Fairlight's part. You know, if Orianna thought she was engaging, you know, Wukong was engaging, with Wukong actually flashing out right when the shockwave came and it hit no one.
Just a little bit of off sync there, and it did cost Heartbeat his life. He would have gone down a little bit sooner, and Lone Cheese certainly would have been able to escape had he been going for a different target, but instead it's an objective rotation.
I mean, we can't really blame SMF here. They've been really on point with the Orianna ults all game long. You know, I think we can afford them a couple mistakes.
But if they make any more, they might lose the game.
I don't know. They're ahead 5k gold. It's going to be a really tough road for SMF.
Season 4 is the comeback season. We might, you know, I wouldn't rule it out.
Absolutely.
They're not that far behind.
This isn't the LCS, man.
Yes, but this is as close as you can get at UC.
Look at this.
These are the top 2 teams
He's
right
getting
now.
shredded down by Iroh in the top
I
lane. He's getting close to getting the Dragon's Descent, so he may try to go for a dive on Fui, but here comes Heartbeat from behind. Fui trying to trade as much as he can, but Fui 1-5-6 right now, not doing as well as he should be. And again, neither of these teams have lost a game in the Winter Game Fest yet. This is going to be the first time either of these teams lose.
and it's as close as we can get. You know, even if Leroy Jenkins is down 6 kills, there's still a winning team fight. They almost got the dragon if it weren't for the fact it got stolen. So they're really trying to, they're making the right moves.
Dragon Descent on the Fui in the top lane. Blade of the Ruin King being used to get the slow, but Iceborne Gauntlet also doing a healthy amount of slow. Here's Arknight's turning around, but Iroh doesn't care. Turns on the Fui instead. Whoa, Immocrit caught by Harpy. Managing to land a death sentence. There's a lot of damage. Command Shockwave catching Harpy. He throws the Mega Inferno Bomb on himself instead of a satchel charge and falls because of it. In the meanwhile, that is going to be Annie picking up the kill onto Wukong. In the meanwhile, Banana Uyu trying to Arcane Shift, does have that Trinity Force allowing for a healthy amount of chase. No Bloodthirster quite yet, so he doesn't have a lot of sustain. Gotta be careful there.
Iroh pushing down the top tier while the rest of the team is at bottom, and he's coming out again, but I feel like he's just gonna get dived again, so I'm not sure he's gonna go for this one.
Arknight originally had rotated up top to stop Fire Lord Oro because Skarner cannot beat a Shyvana, but because of that bot fight, he had to rotate down and help that team, causing Fire Lord Iroh to keep pushing that top tower.
And that's going to be a 4-1 turn advantage for Team SMF, which is really contributing to their surprisingly low 5k gold lead. This led to the game by doing so with Immocrit getting caught.
Immocrit gets caught. Arcane Shift plus Mystic Shot goes in. He tries to juke around, gets a good play, but is almost certainly going to fall. Some good juking, but it goes down to the Essence Force.
Nice try, Brian. Go back to AD carry.
As he would say, hashtag shots fired, right?
Hashtag shots fired, Brian.
Hashtag.
About it?
We established something new. Whenever you say hashtag, we're gonna go like this.
Hashtag.
No, this is not gonna be a thing.
Hashtag.
Anyways, back to the game. Banana Uyu walking up the lane, and we do see him recalling. That is very interesting. But back at top lane, the real interesting thing going on is Firelord Iroh getting actually zoned out by Skarner. I'm not sure why he's not pushing harder. There is no one right now that can 1v1 this Shyvana.
Yeah, Firelord Iroh is having a great game right now. At 714, 177 farm. He's already sieging the inhibitor turret for his lane 23 minutes in. With the completed Spirit Visage and Blade of the Ruin King, he's going to do tons of damage and still be able to stay alive. And already, he's caught
out a little bit here, and
wow, Harpy is doing quite a bit, but he turns on to Hooch. Not able to give any sort of follow-up because of a quick satchel charge, but Iroh, again, has nothing to worry about. Fui with the home guard teleport, tries to get the impale, gets made in Africa. Africa forced to back away. Command Shockwave catches Fui. Arknight's trying to cyclone or get out of there, but he goes down the box from Immocrit, picking up another kill. Harpy locked in the box, and now Hooch falls as well. Iroh turning on to Uyu, isn't able to get the kill. Uyu is solo. Azonia's on Harpy to try to escape, but he falls to the play from Immocrit. Great pick. The only survivor is Banana.
4 for 2 exchange right here for Team SMF. That's going to be a lot of gold for them.
Lone Cheese, they tried to go right for him, and they're using probably the cheesiest tactic, that home guard teleport Skarner impale.
But bringing it back, I like it. I used to do that on Singed.
So, but they saw through it. They caught Main Africa, but they weren't able to burst him down in time.
Definitely, and that was a really good play by both teams. I will say that initiates were phenomenal, but Orianna just did not die fast enough, and really, that was the cause of that gank. That gank only really works when you kill that person in the duration of the Skarner ult.
If they had caught Orianna, she would have not been able to use any of her spells, and that's one of the big carries for Suck My Freljord right now, and all that damage might have been a different type of team fight.
Definitely.
I love the item builds out of Suck My Freljord right now. They're all building relatively offensive. Again, the Blade of the Ruin King on Iroh, well, that funny. Going for a Spirit of the Lizard Elder and a Brutalizer. So he's going to be absolutely shredding his targets down with Cyclone, which of course is going to be his main goal in team fights. And of course, you are going to have Made in Africa and the Lone Cheese doing tons of damage. Rabadon's and Athene's finished, along with Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge on Lone Cheese.
Meanwhile, we see Ezreal here building a pure damage load with Triforce and BT, making his Qs do a ton of damage, but not so much in a sustained fight. Maybe he's counting on the fact that he really should not get in range of this Tristana, and he should probably stay in the back and throw out Qs like a good Ezreal.
They're going to let Ziggs deal with Tristana. I feel like if Ziggs can really catch out, if they can get a CC with Annie Tippers, Ziggs will be able to burst down Tristana.
All that funny gets caught. Going for a jungle invade, but is going to escape. No collapse quite yet. Immocrit just clearing out a few wards. It appears that we are getting a bit of forward aggression out of Suck My Freljord. Immocrit is now really far forward, gets caught in the minefield. Iroh wants to try to engage, but Talisman of Ascension going to force a disengage. Never mind, Iroh decides he wants blood anyways, jumps in, throws down. Blade of the Ruin King gets impaled. Mega Inferno Bomb picks up the kill for Harpy. Made in Africa, forced to back away. Iroh still alive, finally falls all that funny Cyclone, bleeding down the AD carry for Team Leroy Jenkins. And this is now Harpy turning around, caught in a big command dissonance, and wow, so close. Made in Africa barely escapes along with Lone Cheese.
That was a little bit of over-aggression on SMF's part. That Shyvana ultimate was a little spontaneous. His team did not really go along with it, and so, there was no follow-up.
Yeah, well, one of the things is, if Made in Africa did not sombrero, that's what I call it, you know, you would accidentally, the ball recalls back onto you and you just cast a shockwave. If that shockwave had actually hit someone, maybe even Heartbeat, it would have been a, you know, complete ace for Suck My Fairlord.
Once again, like I said though, like you need that team coordination in these high-level games, and you know you can say, oh yeah, like it's an easy, you know, you can mess up easily, but you know in a high-level game like this, you can't be messing up like that.
There's a lot on the line. Again, neither of these two teams have lost a game, so they know that it's more than just game one. It's really their pride that's at stake.
And actually, to bring some history here, this is actually a rematch from our last UCSD GBL, the one where Leroy Jenkins actually 2-0 Suck My Fairlord. So this is a revenge game right now for Blue Team.
I personally will be throwing out that I am cheering for Team SMF. They are my former teammates, and go Team UCSD.
Which is both teams, so I guess you're kind of cheering for both.
Okay, fine. Go the official UCSD team. Oh, shots fired.
That's a true shot barrage. Yeah, that was a shot.
All right, getting back into the game. Made in Africa, a little low on HP, but they're going to be pushing to the jungle here. And actually, Team Leroy Jenkins has almost no vision inside of their own jungle. That could be a big problem for them because we do see that Team SMF really likes to roam inside of there.
There's a lot of forward wards out for SMF. They have complete vision of Leroy Jenkins' jungle, and Leroy Jenkins find themselves on the back foot. They're about 5,000 gold behind. That's not too much 28 minutes into the game, but slowly we're starting to see SMF increase that difference in their favor.
Especially since after that last botched team fight, they actually still managed to make it a 2 for 3. Considering how shady that engage was, that was a pretty good turnout. That's how far ahead they are right now.
Leroy Jenkins actually making good plays to make vision dominance, but they don't see this Baron going on right now.
Absolutely. Iroh and All That Funny are going to try to go for a stealth Baron while the rest of SMF slowly pushes in the mid lane. Hopefully, Leroy is going to recognize something is up because, again, there is a lot at stake here. This Baron is getting dangerously low. Iroh certainly has the damage with Blade of the Ruin King and Black Cleaver and to the Lizard Elder.
Like I said, though, there's no vision here, and this is looking to be a completely free Baron for Team SMF.
Oh, but no, the Mega Bomb not going to make it
not
in
gonna
time.
do it.
Good reaction from Heartbeat. He finally realizes, wait, something's wrong, and isn't able to steal it.
Just a little bit too late. It was just a little bit too late.
You know, no Saint Vicious on the UCSD, so these are guaranteed certified smiters.
Well, they did miss that. Art9 did miss the dragon that earlier time. But you know, I'll give that to
Art9.
I actually give that to Law That Funny. That was a really good steal earlier.
Definitely, and Law That Funny has proven that he is the guaranteed smiter on the team, and he has been doing pretty good so far. So I would say good job to Team SMF for taking that Baron. Let's see what you can do with it.
And with that Baron buff, SMF is going to have a lot of regeneration, so they'll be able to siege down a turret, try to increase their map presence that much further. If they can take an inhibitor, they are going to be in a very commanding position.
Definitely, especially since Team SMF actually scales much harder than Team Leroy Jenkins. We have a Shyvana, Wukong, Orianna, Trist on one team versus low-scaling champions like Olaf and Annie. You know, it's looking to be a really bad game for Team Leroy Jenkins if they let this game drag on.
The great thing is that Arknight actually, you know, Olaf is there to kill the AD carry, but Tristana has the ability to jump away. And once if she can last that Ragnarok duration, she can push him away, and then Olaf is just not in melee range. He's useless. But if he does get that catch originally, and if you know Ziggs can get that burst, it will be bad news for Sucker.
Definitely. At the same time, though, at this point, Tristana is so fed, and this Olaf is a little bit behind. I think she could just sit there and attack and she'd probably win.
Yeah, but we're going to see Law That Funny actually engaging on Dark Knight.
Offense got a little bit far forward. Death Sentence managing to land. Ragnarok being used prematurely. Iroh engaging on the Fui, using Dragon's Descent to deny the teleport. Baron buff on Iroh, allowing him to tank the turret for quite a while. He was very tanky with that finished Randuin's and Spirit Visage. Additional armor on the way, and Fui now has used his teleport, has used his Impale, is left distracting that Shyvana, while the rest of SMF are going to siege this tier 2 turret.
Pretty good trade, in my opinion, for Team Leroy Jenkins. Trading your, what is this, 3-6 Skarner for a 9-3 Shyvana. That's a very, very good situation to be in.
True shot barrage coming out to clear. A little bit of a minion wave.
Alright, and we see not a lot of action going on here, but both teams really positioning up. I think Team SMF really wants to fight with that Baron buff. At the same time, Leroy Jenkins is playing their defense exceptionally well with that Ziggs wave clear and the good Ezreal poke.
The one problem with the Ziggs wave clear is it only can cover one lane. That's what you see out of Suck My Fairlord is actually they're split pushing all 3 lanes at once, so they can't have that Ziggs covering everything.
At the same time, you're stretching your resources very thin, and that's exactly how comebacks happen. When you stretch your resources too thin and don't rely on team fights and start split pushing, that's really when people can come back. So maybe Leroy Jenkins can do something here.
And I like the distribution of Leroy Jenkins. They're keeping Fui in the top lane, doing that he can deal with Iroh at least for the most part, as they're allowing Heartbeat to deal with the very push-heavy Tristana. Now here comes Uyu, seeing that Flea has recalled to clear up a bit of minions. Again, there's no engage from either of the teams quite yet. They're making sure that they can get off the engage they want. They don't want to be caught on the back foot. Whoa, all that funny stuff with a quick stun, but he walks away.
Hooch's flash is up, so if he does want to do the flash tippers, if he sees a perfect engage, he will go in. Fui, on the other hand, does not have his flash, so no flash availed right now.
At the same time, I don't think Leroy Jenkins will be engaging on the team SMF right now. The SMF does have Baron buff, and they are ahead. You do not want to be engaging on a team like that when you can get easily counter-engaged. I think they're just playing defense until this Baron buff runs out. They're doing a pretty good job of it.
In Africa, doing very well with his build, currently with the Void Staff, Athens, and Rabadon's Death Cap 2. Heartbeats, only a Zhonya's Athens and a Void Staff, a more defensive Ziggs. I like how that is, just because when you see Shyvana and Wukong have such incredible dive potential, you really have to make sure that you can survive that quick dive.
And Oriana actually not opting to go to Zhonya's because she knows that Tristana is going to be the primary target, so she can be able to build pure offense with that Rabadon's Death Cap.
Whoa, Mega Inferno Bomb catching Made in Africa out of position. He gets bursted down. This is great for Leroy Jenkins. Baron buff about to fall off as well, so we could see a quick rotation as they go for an objective.
And in almost a turn of irony, that Zhonya's actually would have been very useful there. She got bursted right there, so I mean, maybe proving me wrong right then.
Definitely, and we do see Leroy Jenkins, they are playing their game exceptionally well. They do know that they're behind and they're playing it so smart. That's exactly what they come back. Arknight scene, BMing this poor Wukong right here saying, you took my dragon, I'm taking your red buff. Actually, it was his red buff to begin with, but, you know, I want it this time.
It does actually, it's still kind of a win for blue team. It means that Banana Uyu can't get the red buff, but you know, having the red buff on someone at least is still good for Leroy Jenkins.
Definitely, Team SMF going for Dragon here. It is going to be some more gold, and when you're ahead and you really can't push, taking Dragon is the best thing to do. All you can do is increase your gold lead.
Absolutely. Let's take a little bit of time to talk about how we got here. What happened over the course of the game to get us to this point?
Well, I have no idea, Don, because I walked in halfway through the game. Ben, why don't you fill us in?
Well, actually, at the very, very beginning, the first couple minutes, Leroy Jenkins actually was up in CS for the solo lanes. And it was really apparent because it had Arknight camping for free, and, you know, they had the advantage. But then all of a sudden, it was a very good rotations by Firelord, Iroh, and from All That Funny that they were able to get kills and just snowball that head to this 4-tower lead right now.
Plus 6 kills.
Plus 6 kills. But the towers are so important, that map advantage. I mean, most of the time, I mean, not right now, but they were attempting to take that red buff. That's really what you get, the vision and the buff control.
Definitely, and let's not forget that they did take a Baron about 5 minutes ago. They don't have the buff anymore, but that's still a lot of golden experience for all of them.
SMF certainly feeling very comfortable. Baron going to be spawning in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. So definitely a lot of potential for some sort of plays.
Definitely, and we're going to see how Team SMF really wants to close this game out right here. They have been ahead for so long, but no objectives taken in a very long time, simply because Leroy Jenkins is playing their defense so well.
Definitely. We're probably not going to see anything until Baron, but everyone positioning for it. Blue team actually having a pink award in that little bush by the tri-bush by... No, actually, it's the bush on the opposite side of the red wall.
Banana brush?
Yeah, the banana brush. So prepping for that, there's wards there, so they know when Leroy Jenkins decides to charge into Baron if they do so.
And that's certainly something Leroy is going to need to do. They don't have a lot of vision in their top half of the jungle, and with Baron about to spawn in 30 seconds, they're going to have to retake jungle control, and that's a very frightening prospect, especially with Iroh so tanky, actually picking up a Thornmail on top of that Randuin's.
Definitely, if Ezreal's any kind of smart, he's not going to be focusing Shyvana. But you know what? When you're not focusing Shyvana, you can't really ignore her. She does so much damage, not to mention she's very large and kind of blocks all of Ezreal's Mystic shots. So if she gets in front of Ezreal,
Funny gets a ball, managing to get the shockwave onto Arknight, who blows the Ragnarok very early. Here comes the two-shot barrage coming out. Arknight is low. A Mega Inferno managing to do a lot of damage. Made in Africa, dangerously low, a lot of funny low as well. But Fleet coming in, managing to pick up not 1 but 2 kills in the turnaround. This is a double lead. Out of Tristana to go jump in, ignite onto Fleet. Fleet is low, and Iroh falls. Now Uyu and Heartbeat, a little bit of an advantage. It is 3-2, so they can definitely make a play, try to take a turret off of this.
All right, that was a 3 for 2 right there, which is very good, like I said before, when you are behind about 6k gold. So good job to Team Leroy Jenkins, really bringing ahead and
What
powering
happened
through.
was Made in Africa and got hit by that Ziggs bomb. Didn't kill her, but it made her so scared that she didn't want to engage, as well as the shockwave only hit Olaf, who was able to actually then Ragnarok out to safety.
Definitely, and I will say some exceptional kiting from Ezreal. He played that one really well, stayed just out of range out of everybody. Not to mention, Harpy threw down a pretty good Zigzal, hitting all 3 members of the back line of Team SMF.
And that is going to be a finished Void Staff on Heartbeat, so we will really be able to shred through the health of Lolnef, Funny, and Iroh. And of course, Africa and Lone Cheese going to be relatively weak to start with because they don't even have a lot of defensive items. But alas, the Quicksilver Sash.
Quicksilver Cutlass, is that a new item, Dom?
It's a new thing on Lone Cheese. So that is going to allow her to dive in, try to throw out a quick buster shot, get the reset. If it doesn't work, throw it on the Quicksilver and leap away with a flash or try to retreat.
I can understand why you're going from. There's the Bilgewater Cutlass and the Quicksilver. He's going for both items at once, both actives. So
True Shot Barrage coming out from Ezreal, clearing out some waves and maybe some minion camps while he's at it, but I do not see any major actions being taken by Team Leroy Jenkins. They have been defending for the past 10 minutes at least, and you know what? When you're defending, you can defend for a very long time, but when you're stretching the game out, you got to take objectives.
I can see if Suck My Feral wins one team fight, they're going to be able to snowball that with either with an inhibitor, and that's going to give them the advantage to finally push over this defensive wall that Leroy Jenkins has built.
This late into the game, 37 minutes in, if they got a clean ace and Tristana was left alive, she could single-handedly queue through every single turret next to the Nexus and take the game for them. So they're going to be very careful with their team fights.
Blade of the Ruined King as well, so she does have a lot of sustain in addition to crazy crits and armor pen. Definitely going to be the target, but here it comes. All that funny mention, you get a great Cyclone Command Shockwave whipping from Africa, but it doesn't matter as we have a position going down the box, trying to lock down the members of Leroy Jenkins. A huge Mega Inferno Bomb, able to pick up 1 kill, but I don't know if it is enough as Arknights backs away. SMF trying to keep himself alive. Banana Uyu retreating from that very scary Shyvana we were talking about, and wow, another kill. That's a triple kill from
And
Lone
an
Cheese.
ace for Team SMF, and that's, like I said before, that's going to be game for them because Tristana does so much damage. Let's take a moment of silence as Tristana demolishes every single turret left in their base.
Rip in peace, towers. Rip in peace.
Yes, that's going to be the inhibitor turret. Going down now.
Soon enough. There you go. And with that, the inhibitor will fall as well.
There is still about a 30-second window before the members of Leroy Jenkins respawn. They may be able to clear this out, try to come back, but Iroh again continuing to tank. Africa is in position with a good command protect. This turret is just going down so very,
I'm putting my
very
money
quickly.
on Team SMF, Ben. What do you think?
I don't know. It looks like Leroy Jenkins has the potential to come back in game 2. I really think they can pull it back.
5 seconds. Actually, Dragon Descent being used just for funsies. Nexus going to fall. SMF takes game number 1.
And that was a very anticlimactic finish, but good job to both teams. They
How
both
can you
played
say
it
it's
out.
anticlimactic?
It
There
was
was a very
fantastic.
big finishing fight. They pushed down all the towers. That was what they needed. That's like what I said. They needed the one fight, and they can get the inhibitor and push to the win.
And we are about to go into game number 2. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to mute the mic real quick while we get in the next game lobby set up. But we'll be right back with game number 2 of the Winter Game Fest Finals.